Welcome back to another exciting episode of Mailbag. Mailbag. What's in the mailbag today for Petey? So today we are going to be opening up some mail, some packages from the East. And this is stuff that I ordered from Alibaba Express. So here we have on DP-DT mini toggle switches. I think we're going to be getting an assortment of these. I had ordered 15 of them, and they came in and they were all momentary contact, which means that you throw the switch and it bounces right back. It doesn't click on it. And it said in the description self-resetting or something like that. I didn't see that. So yeah, I've got to find a home for those. Hey, look what came in. Our PWM. This is what I've been waiting on for the ridiculously silly incredible spring thing. That's a hell of a name, isn't it? So this is called a PWM, pulse width modulation, and it's got it's like it just will not focus, will it? Well, you're going to have to trust me. Not trying to pull a fast one on anybody. It's got power minus and plus, and motor minus and plus. And the plus is shared. It's on the same bus. Isn't that interesting? So the pulse width modulation, it pulse of some width of DC. Pulse width modulation. It's not pulse width modulation, pulse width, like how wide is it? So the wider the gap between pulses, maybe the slower the motor will go. Instead of feeding your DC motor a constant stream, it pulses it, and that's how you can control the speed. Now, this, of course, is just theory. PD doesn't know. Oh, look, so cute. More stuff for the ridiculously silly, incredible spring thing. Isn't that a great name? I didn't think of that myself. I stole it. Like all of my other ideas, I've never had an original idea in my life. Stole everything. So here is the little bitsy DC motors, and I really ripped the crap out of the bag. There's 5 of them. Wow. Look at these little babies. Look at the little, eat the baby, eat the baby. These are vibration motors from a cell phone. Now, the one that I've got in there is larger than this. I think it's larger than this. Oh, yeah, which is cool. I'm going to have, I don't know. Is it cool? Are these going to do anything because they're so small? The idea is that it's a spring reverb tank, and mounting vibration motors on it would cause it to hum or sing or produce an oscillative tone. Because this is all about, it's a noise machine. Oh, look at this. Bump, 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 bump. These are machined IC sockets. So by machined, what that, to make it a little bit simpler, it's just that the sockets where you plug the chip in are nice. They are they're like machined, for lack of a better term. The more affordable type that are a little bit less money don't have these individual holes, which I just like these better. just it's classy, you know? Nice. If we can spend more money, make the project, and I'm waiting to see what PCB Mania says, because they owe me. They need to send me a replacement PCB. I don't think they're going to do it. I think I'm going to have to buy one off of them, and then I'm going to have to make a nasty video. Well, here there's 5 of these little cables. These are 1.5 millimeter pitch. I forget if they're GXM, GH, GXHM. They have goofy, and I don't know what that means, but these cables have names. I don't know what they're called. Forgive me. Very hard for me to locate this. And these, the audio boards that I purchased from China, oftentimes that's the, so what I'll do, that's the audio connection on it. What I'll do is I'll go underneath the PCB on the solder points for those jacks, and I'll just solder onto the solder points. This is just, you know, a lot of times what I would be doing is cutting this in half and then preparing one end, plugging it into one circuit, and then soldering it on to the other. Like, let's say it's the input. Well, I could my quarter-inch input jack doesn't have these connectors on it, but if I cut the wire, I can solder it on there and then plug it right in. And I really like having these. So they came in. They're right. I mean, you never know until you got it in your hand. Is this going to be actually the right thing? And I'm cheating and I'm using a scissors because some of these packages are not conducive for slashing them open dramatically. Okay, what do we got here? Do I know what this is? I don't know what this is. This is... Oh, these are AD828 microphone preamps. They take... I think it's like 5 to 24 volts these take. But yeah, there's 3 connectors for your input and 3 connectors for your output and 2 connectors for power. And these boost the signal really nicely. These can be used, like, let's say you're building an amplifier and you're gonna a stereo amp, and you're gonna plug your Walkman or your MP3 into it. Well, you could put this in front of the amp, in between your Walkman and then the power amplifier, and this would really boost the signal. Because see, on the output of a lot of the, if you're going out of a headphone jack, a lot of those outputs are really underpowered. And I always talk about this, but I'll bring it up again. There was a lawsuit. Somebody, ow, my ear! They listening to their iBud, and they claimed that it caused them ear damage. And ever since then, most of the devices that are made with headphone jacks, the headphone jack does not put out. They put out a fraction of what they used to, which is frustrating for a guy like me. So what I will end up doing is building little headphone amps like this one. This is actually the same chip, the 8828, that's in this one. It's the bulk of this is the batteries, and then there's the circuit board is over there, over here, the circuit board. And there's an input and an output. So what this is, like, I'll plug there's the jack with the arrow on it. I have a cable that's plugged into my computer or my guitar multi-effect, and then this will go into the computer or the guitar multi-effect, and then I plug my headphones in here. And then what you get is really nice, beefy sound, really good quality sound. Now, a lot of the stuff that came in today is parts for the ridiculously silly, incredible spring thing, including this key lock mechanism. It goes in a metal box, and I'm either going to have to get the grinder out and see the one that came with it. This is hard to explain. This is the key lock for this lockbox. Okay, so the one I bought this large metal box, almost like a tackle box. It's a little bigger, and I'm building the project into it with the batteries. There'll be a subwoofer, 2 stereo subwoofers, like larger subwoofer speakers, and then a power horn, like an alarm horn. And then there's going to be a couple of spring reverb units inside of it, all these circuitry, some preamps, two preamp boards, one of these, and then another one that has a volume control on it. There's 3 echo units, and then a bunch of motors. All the echo units will have knobs, and then there's like 6 or 8 switches for the motors. So it's kind of a lot of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to be building that into this chassis, and the thing is, I bought the chassis. It was like $7 for this box, and it didn't have a key. And the way that you open it is with the key. It latches like on a latch on the inside. So this thing, the top is just going to be flappy, and the handle is on the top. So I really need to be able to latch it in order to pick it up from the handle. So I bought another key, and you can remove this latch here. On this one, it's just a screw. On mine, it's like they brazed it. It's like they fitted the key part on it, and there's a little, it's not solder, but it's like metal, like brazed metal. So what I'm going to do is I filed it with a file, and it came down. It's pretty, the brazing, the metal is pretty weak. And I built myself a grinder. I bought a heavy, like a big motor. I think it was from a compression pump for a freezer. And I mounted that to a board and then put a switch on it. And there was a fastener for a belt, but I was able to fasten a grinding wheel onto it. I went to Home Depot, and the guy was like, "Why would you build a grinder?" And then he was like, "Wait, hold on. I built a grinder when I was young." I was like, "Get out of here, you Kuchenheimer. Like, how old are you? First you're going to lay into me, and then you remember you did the same thing? You know, are you going to help me or not?" So I told him to go pound sand, and then I went home and looked at it, and I was like, wait a minute, this belt chuck comes apart, and there's 2 Allen fasteners on it, separate things. So I put one in, I slapped the wheel on, put the other one on the outside, and tightened them both, and that's my grinder. But hey, it works. So what I'll do is I'll grind down the fastener on the other one, and hopefully pull that key off, and it'll look the same on the inside of it as this. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I really want to have it with the key. I think that's just cool and classy. So Lord, please let my plan come together. And I am supposed to be practicing today. I haven't practiced yet. I did start listening to the new Dead Cross album, and man, oh man, it's really good. Mike Patton has done it again. And he's kind of reinvented, like, I don't know if you know Patton's his vocabulary, but he's got a new thing. It's like yelling. That sounds great. We've heard him scream. Now he's just yelling. So these are B500K long stem potentiometers. These are 24 millimeter. Like the normal pots that I deal with are 15 or 17 millimeter, somewhere in there. These are a bit larger, and they feel really nice. And a lot of my guitars are they just have old beat up pots in them. They're probably not the best, you know. So I've been going through and replacing the pots with these. They're about $1 a piece, but man, when you get them in there, it's nice. It just feels nice. And typically, my pots, the shafts are all kind of bent up, and so the knob will like wobble when you turn it. I just, it's worth it to me that, you know, to have nice stuff. Can we have nice stuff? So here, we have, oh, I bought myself some tools. Look at this. This was $6, and they're long Phillips. I should say 7. They're long Phillips bits, and you get like 3 of these. Or are they all different? Yeah, no, they're all different sizes. They're all different bits. Look at that. Look at that. Nice. So yeah, I can chuck these into my 18-volt Ryobi, and Bob's your uncle. So probably make some kind of a holder for that. Probably take a 2x4 and drill it out. Have the 2x4 stand up, and they'll just sit in the 2x4. You know, drill it all the way through, and then glue a baseboard on it that's a little bit bigger so it doesn't wobble or tip over, and then paint the whole thing black. I love making little things like that. You know, I'll be doing one project, I'll be doing the spring thing, and I'll just get the woodworking tools out for an hour and do this. You know, while I'm doing that, then I can like kind of, well, you know, this glue has to dry for an hour. Let me get back to the spring thing. And then, the glue's dry, let's paint it. So that's how that insanity goes. It really, it bothers Gampy when I do that. She's like, you're doing one thing and you start 50,000 other projects. Yeah. It's like, how about making me a sandwich? Can you tone it down? We're flying around on the bike. So yeah, she's been learning. Gampy has a tough time learning new music. She tends to it brings out the worst in her, and she gets almost emotional at times. She gets really upset about it, and then I'll go. It's G sharp, and then C sharp, and then D sharp, and then back to E. And she'll go, what? And I'll go, G sharp, that's 4th fret on the E string. And then C sharp, which is 4th fret on the C string, so you just down one. And then D sharp, which is a whole step up, so you can either play it on 3rd fret, 1st fret, 3rd string, 1st fret, or you could play it properly as a bass player would, 5th fret on your 2nd string. And then after that, you just go back down to your E, open E, but don't forget the octave E is right after that. So follow through when you practice it. And she'll do it real slow, and then she's just, okay. No, like, oh, I'm sorry I flipped out and made a federal case out of it, and, you know, yelled and kicked and screamed for 3 hours. And then the first time when she understands what it is, she's able to play it. She doesn't say, because I would be embarrassed. I would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made a big deal out of nothing," you know. But no. So that's my cross to bear. If you ever make music with your loved one, the best way to do it is play covers and find a tutorial and have someone else teach her how to play. Yeah. I shouldn't say that. Gampy, she used to be like that, and then like kind of after the kids left, she got awesome. She got really good with learning. It didn't bother her to learn new stuff. And then just recently, we were playing covers, and it's like legit bass lines. It's not something that I wrote. So these are like, some of it's a little bit more technically difficult to play, and she's got really tiny little hands, tiny little fingers. She only plays bass with her index finger. She cannot use. I think she uses this finger. So that's the deal with her. And me coming on here laughing about it when she's not here to defend herself. It really isn't right, because she does great. She really does. She really does. But it's been a little bit challenging because there's 8 new tunes that I threw at her. Now, a few of these we've played before, but the ones that we played before, most of them were like written in like piano keys, like weird key, and I was unable to get the original tracks and separate them like I am now, thanks to the software called Moises. You put a song in, and what comes out is here's just the drums on one track, here's the bass on one track, which is really cool if you're doing what we're doing right now, which is some covers, some standards. But like I said before, when we played some of these covers, I changed the key to make it a little easier on a guitar. So that's really a challenge for Grandpa, because I learned it one way, now I got to learn it, and it's all different. And I'm like, well, it's in a different key, so technically it kind of isn't all different. The relationship to the notes should be the same. But no, it's all different. And she's been working at it, and I got to tell you, I was really impressed on how well she did with the song called Apache. Man, she did really well, and it's a complicated piece. Like, I would have had a hard time playing the bass line on it. Anyway, you guys, thank you for joining me for this episode of Mailbag, What's in the Mailbag, and Petey Complains. I cleaned out the spot just next to me. There's a wire ball down there about this big, just solid wires. It was all like AC wires, DC wires, audio cables, just all in a big giant ball. Like 10 years worth of stuff where I hooked whatever up, and then it just turns into a ball of dense wire. So I pulled a real lot of that out of there, and then vacuum. Oh man, you should have seen all the crud down there. And this is the type of stuff I'll do when I'm supposed to be learning new guitar parts. I gotta go and watch these stupid fucking tutorials with these guys. And this is, F sharp to D flat, and then you do your trill. My worst hated. Like, I don't want to do any of this. Why am I doing this? Guitar instrumentals? I mean, we're trying to play a Jeff Beck song. It's like, what are you doing, Petey? What are you doing? I cut the whole lead solo section out. I was like, that's it. All right, you guys. Thanks for joining me again. Try to stay warm. Hug your pets, and peace.